Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to be breaking down all the action from today's Giants versus Rams game. Before we get started though, please drop a quick like and a sub on today's video. That would really help my channel grow. I'd really appreciate that. And with that said, let's dive right into the video and I hope you enjoy. So really big win here by the Los Angeles Rams over the New York Giants. This one was kind of, it wasn't really a game after the first or second quarter, really. The Rams were able really to run away with it after that second quarter when they put up 28 points to the Giants, 0 points in the quarter, and really, took a commanding 28-3 lead into halftime and really was able to, and they were able to win the game pretty much from that. Let's talk about their effort first before we talk about the Giants. Matthew Stafford was absolutely fantastic throwing the football. Had one interception off the hands of Cooper Kupp that ended up getting picked off, but really, I'm not even going to count that. I mean, he threw for over 250 yards, 4 touchdowns for the air. I mean, this guy was insanely productive throwing the football, really, really productive. But you also got to look at guys like Darrell Henderson on the ground. I mean, he was productive running the football, had a touchdown on the ground, had over 20 carries for over 75 yards. Really, really productive on the ground. But he was also productive through the air too. He had a few catches. And he had a receiving touchdown too on the day. So he was really a big part of this offense. So it was Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp has been arguably the best receiver in the NFL so far this season. And he continued to do that for this Rams team. You saw him in the slot a lot. You saw him catching screen passes, going deep downfield. He was all over the field for this Rams team today. He had a pair of touchdowns, over 100 receiving yards, about 10 catches. I mean, he was absolutely fantastic through the air. I mean, he's always going to be one of those productive players for this Rams team, and he's just continuing to do that. Tyler Higbee, too. I mean, from the tight end position, was pretty productive as well. I mean, he had 5 catches, over 35 yards. He was just another guy to mix things up, and Robert Woods had a little bit more of a quiet day, but he was still able to catch a touchdown pass, but it was mostly Cooper Kupp through the air, Darrell Henderson on the ground, and Matthew Stafford really being accurate and productive throwing the football. Defensively, this team was locked down and shut down. I mean, they're one of the better defensive units in the league, and when you've Leonard Floyd, when you've got Aaron Donald rushing the passer, things are going to go well, especially when you have a good back end too, highlighted by Jalen Ramsey, Jordan Fuller, who had a really big day. But I mean, it was really impossible for the Giants to get anything done on the offside of the football, partially because the Rams defense is really good, but also partially because the Giants' lack of personnel on the outside of the football really hampered them. So overall, my main takeaways from the Rams were they need to keep throwing the football and they need to keep running the ball. They need to find that balance, and they found that balance in today's game, and that's really what allowed them to have a lot of offensive success. So balance offensively, but more importantly, just play action play, and that was really productive for this Rams team. For the Giants, different story. When you get blown out like this, it's never going to be pretty. But obviously, they were without some of their better players in today's game. They were without Kenny Golladay to start. They were without Saquon Barkley to start. And then they lost Kadarius Toney after the first quarter. In that first quarter, Toney put up 3 catches for 36 yards and was looking really, really productive and looking like he could have another breakout game after a massive game where he had 189 receiving yards last week. But he ended up not being able to play because of an ankle injury that he had sustained earlier, and just couldn't really be running on it anymore. It was too much for him. And then that left the Giants' receiving corps really, 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 really thin. Sterling Shepard, Dante Pettis, and then Evan Engram, who, as a tight end is kind of questionable. So there wasn't really any depth of receiver for this team today, and Daniel Jones had a lot of difficulty finding, receivers. I mean, he couldn't really move the ball downfield, couldn't find open guys. There wasn't really anyone to throw to because the Rams defense was doing a very good job getting to the quarterback, putting on pressure, and Daniel Jones really struggled. Threw 3 interceptions, and at the end of the day, I mean, he had a few fumbles. It was an ugly game. The offensive line wasn't good. And when you're playing against the Rams defensive front that's arguably the best in the NFL, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough no matter what, but the Giants they simply weren't good enough, and they weren't good enough anywhere in today's game to win this game. Defensively, there aren't a lot of positives either. The one positive I would take away was Leonard Williams, who I thought actually had a fantastic game for parts of that first half. Kind of quieted himself down in the second half, but he had a couple sacks in that first half. I think he had 1.5 sacks maybe in that first half. Was all around the football, all around Daniel Jones. Especially in that first quarter. He had a really big first quarter. That was the one standout for me on the defense side of the football. I guess Xavier McKinney, when you're looking at the stats, had a good game with an interception. I don't really know how much of that was him, to be honest. It was him more just being in the right place at the right time. It was a drop ball by Cooper Kupp, a little bit too much heat on it for Matthew Stafford. But overall, this defense struggled. They couldn't stop the pass. They couldn't stop the run. And they really struggled. When they got pressure on Matthew Stafford, good things happened. That was pretty much the first quarter, and other than that, not for the rest of the game. So overall, really tough game for the Giants. I mean, they got outworked, they got outran, they got outthrown, and the Rams simply just played a better football game. So, looking towards next week, I mean, the Rams continue to have a pretty easy schedule. They play the Lions. That should be a pretty easy game, pretty easy win for them. And then the Giants, they're going to be playing the Carolina Panthers, who have been very up and down to start the season, but definitely a more winnable game for them than the Los Angeles Rams. Panthers, played the Vikings this week, and they struggled at times during that game. So I think the Giants are going to be able to have a more favorable opponent this week. Next week rather. But especially if they get some guys back, maybe they have a chance. But after today's game against the Rams, I mean, this team is in shambles. It really is. The offensive line is not good. The defense looked a step behind all throughout today's game. And more importantly, I mean, the wide receivers. Dropping balls, dropping passes, and more importantly, injuries too. So it's kind of the state of this Giants team right now. But for the Rams, they keep rolling, and arguably for me, I think they're the best team in the NFL. They've got everything. They're complete offensively. Matthew Stafford looks in complete control, and defensively, obviously, Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey lead one of the better defensive units in the league. And with that said, that's pretty much going to end the video for today. Did you agree with my analysis? Why or why not? Leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Also, if you're new around here, please drop a like and a sub on today's video. I'd really appreciate that. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, see ya.